Hello, welcome to my channel called Daunting on Stupidity. I'm your host, Daunt, and on this channel we go over criminal cases and we dunk on the stupid criminals in a kind of a humorous way because it's how I cope with everything. I cope with humor, but yeah. And just a preface to this video, it does not condone the action of the criminal or glorifying it. what we are what we are doing on this channel is bring awareness to the victim and the victim's family, and we are educating people on do, to not be like that piece of shit we're going to know to learn about. So um the channel we're going to react is called True Crime Story, and it's going to uh, narrate the story. Well, not the story, but like the true crime video. And the case is called, really stupidly, The Chilling Case of Brian Cohee. So, yeah, let's get into it.
Colorado, February 2021, 19-year-old Brian Cohee Jr. committed a brutal crime so horrific and ruthless that the presiding judge sentenced him to life in prison.
And I pull the sheet back, I get on him, and then and he wakes up. He's, what are you doing? What are you doing? Get off me!
The victim, 69-year-old Warren Barnes, was known locally as the Reading Man. A homeless individual who found solace under a bridge, Warren was often seen engrossed in paperback.
So, Warren Barnes, as I learned and read about it, he was a good, citizen. He was obviously homeless, which that does not make an individual bad. It just means that he had an unfortunate circumstances, and he was apparently a good person. He was helping around. People knew him. People were fond of him. So that's why when he went missing, his disappearance did not go unknown.
Or helping store owners with odd jobs. Sadly, his severed head sits in Brian Cohee's closet. Now let's talk about Brian Cohee.
Jump scare. First of all, okay. I don't condone bullying someone on their physical appearance. I have nothing to say about that. But when it comes to criminal like this, I'm dunking on his personality, looks, and everything that goes with them. So he's fucking. I'm sorry.
Cohee Jr. Coming from a family that included parents Brian Sr. and Terry, he had a troubled past marked by mental health issues. Brian himself reported suffering from major depressive disorder and Asperger's syndrome, and he had a disturbing fascination with death and morbidity.
Okay, so obviously the narrator, which is probably a bot, obviously I don't think it's condoning his action, but it's depressive, depression, Asperger's, or other mental health issues or mental disability does not excuse his action. Nothing in this world can excuse a murder, unless if it's self-defense, then that's a different case. But he did it. I don't know if they will show it later on in this video, but he only did the murder because he wanted to know how it felt to take someone's life. So all of his condition does not excuse his action, obviously.
He was widely known for his questionable, dark sense of humor. He would often say things or make jokes that were extremely inappropriate. On February 27, 2021, after a family movie night where they watched 1984, Brian stepped out into the night, armed with a kitchen knife and dressed in his blue jumpsuit he used for last year's Halloween.
So that dumbass tried to be Michael Meyer in real life. Like, if y'all know who Michael Meyer is, everyone knows that he is a I never seen the Halloween movies, but I do know a little bit about it. Obviously, it's I think they're supernatural or just a person, with a like mechanic jumpsuit and has a mask on him and goes around and kill people with a kitchen knife. And that's what he tried to do. He tried to Michael Myers.
It was in the darkness near the Grand Avenue footbridge that he came across Warren, who was sleeping under a canvas.
He was saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Ah!" And I said, "I've been wanting to do this for a long time. Murder someone." The whole ordeal lasted about a minute.
So, as we can all hear, he's like, I waited a long time to do this. That's so fucking weird to say. Like, oh my god.
Minute and a half. Is it okay if I do a demonstration? Oh, yeah.
He was way too fucking eager to demonstrate how he did it. Oh my god.
This is him. I was straddled on top of him like this. Okay. And he couldn't fight back. It was actually surprisingly easy. I was barely breaking the sweat. I thought, oh, this guy, he's going to be tough. But no, it was actually surprisingly easy. And during the time...
Why did he need to say it was surprisingly easy? What was the purpose of saying that?
I was growling and making animalistic noises.
Ew. He just like... Ew. Nope.
He placed some of the body parts into a plastic bag and transported them to his bedroom closet. To dispose of the remains, Brian attempted to hide what remained of Warren's body in a river. But while unloading the evidence, his car became stuck and slid into the river with him in it.
So...
Seeking help.
Basically, this dumbass tried to discard of the evidence in a river. And basically, I think the river was a little bit like, not a steep slope, but just like, you know, like not flat. So he either, it was either really slippery or he didn't put his car in park. So his car fell in the river. So it's really fucking dumb what he did.
He was able to flag down an acquaintance to use their phone to call his parents. Police arrived at the scene and were bewildered at how his car managed to get into the river. After several phone...
Okay, so we're going to dissect what this is about, right? So, if the car was, like this, right? Like that's a car, and the car ended up like this, like, this is not horizontal, that landscape, okay? That car landed like this, while I think he was trying to, like, he was parked like this. I don't know what kind of just nasty that car did, but I'm pretty sure that car wanted to get the fuck away from that kid.
Calls to get a tow truck. His parents drop Brian off at home and go back to the scene. Police notice blood smeared on the bumper. Raising suspicions, his parents make a phone call to Brian. Brian acts completely confused as to what it was, and the issue is dropped.
It's right here.
Oh, you see it?
Yeah. Because there's an arm.
Oh, shit.
Hey.
Why is that? I'm not gonna say it, but why is she laughing? It's not funny. Finding an arm on underneath the bridge and it looks like it's close to a highway? Well, that should be a highway. But anyways, anywhere. And she's, well, okay, some people, like myself, it is a traumatic response to laugh or just like a coping mechanism, but still, like, God.
Search ever.
There's an arm, there's another arm.
Okay, hold on.
Oh shit. Oh, I didn't remember, but yes. Didn't he? Oh wait, it was his head and hand that they found in his closet, not his arm. Okay, never mind.
Do some pictures. Start right now.
There's another one.
Right here's a leg. Well, it could be the upper arm or a leg.
Well, there's three. There, and there.
So I don't know if it was in the same night. I think it was all in the same like proximate, same time. But he either had a really sharp knife, or he used brutal force. Cause I don't think I never butchered a human, but I'm pretty sure like obviously like it's his arm, like probably cut it to his shoulder, but like even the bone, like it's tough to cut into, and the way that they showed the knife, it was just a kitchen knife. It wasn't like a saw or anything. So I am. It's actually really wild how he was able to do that. Actually,
Pieces down there. I mean,
A patrol guide to yellow tape it and then hold it, because the potential is that there's a secondary by the boat launch.
Yeah, I would think so.
well, we
'cause
can
if
run
you
out
want to
there
go,
and look at that, and then if you guys, we can just ask for a.
I'm switching to primary. Hold on.
But if we can get the lab out here, that would be the best thing.
yeah, get forensics out here. Yeah.
okay. So let me go back real quick. So over there, that was where Warren was staying. I think that was his little. I would want to say hideout. I don't think that's the word, but his little kind of not fortress, but like his domain. Damn, that's that's very still loose.
We're good. Yeah.
I thought they found his body here, but I guess not. I haven't like I read about it, but it was a long time ago, so that's why.
Are you on?
We weren't contacting anybody.
The following day, on March 1st, 2021, Brian's parents made a horrific discovery. While cleaning his room, his mom, Terry, stumbled upon a severed head and dismembered body parts hidden in a container in the closet. She found it heavy and teeming with
Yeah, it was his head and his hands, if I remember well.
maggots. Terrified, she immediately called
Ew, maggots. Okay, I did not remember that detail. Oh my god.
for help. When police arrived and interviewed Brian, the unsettling footage captured during their interaction quickly became infamous. Brian was eerily calm and showed no emotion when police confirmed his parents' reports. The officer put him in her patrol car and didn't even handcuff him because he was not a threat. Ironically, Brian turned out to be one of the most cold-blooded murderers this town has ever seen. During a pivotal
Yeah, so basically the cop was like, "Oh, he's not a threat," and the same day they find out he's a murderer. So I say he's a threat, but I'm not police.
police interview, one officer asked Brian, Your parents have concerns about some stuff they may have found in your room.
Parents have some concerns of some stuff they may have found in your room?
Yeah, I believe so.
And what would it be?
A human head and hands.
Do you have anything on you?
The way he said it is so chilling and so like nonchalant, like obviously, oh, it's so creepy, bro.
He's gonna cut, poke, hurt, stick me anything without reaching for nothing? Don't reach for nothing.
My phone and my wallet, that's
okay.
it.
Well, I'm gonna have you face that way, put your hands on top of your head for me real quick. I just wanna make sure you interlace your fingers for me real quick, all right?
When pressed further about how he ended up with the remains, Brian confessed, "I murdered him." And when asked what he used, he simply responded, "A knife." The officer inquired about the reason.
It was the knife. Let me show it. Is it that knife? Oh wait, maybe we won't show it, but oh, this knife right here. This is the knife that he used.
Reasoning behind the murder. Brian's unsettling admission was, "I always wondered what murder would feel like." Brian was giddy with excitement telling his story. Smiling, he showed absolutely no remorse and seemed proud of his accomplishment. During questioning, Brian elaborated on the events of that night. He described it vividly, stating, "It was the night of February 27th. It was a full moon, and I figured I could see so well. Why not try it out? I was in a bad state of mind."
What the fuck? Ew, he's like, oh, the full moon. Time for murder. Fucking weirdo. He's a weirdo.
At that time, "I have major depressive disorder." He recounted spotting Warren on the railway track, saying, "I grabbed my knife, put on 3 layers of gloves because plastic gloves can betray their users, and then I stabbed his neck." Brian described Warren's panic as he repeatedly asked, "What are you doing? Why?" In a shocking twist, Brian admitted he was making animalistic noises while committing the act. Brian stabbed Warren multiple times in the neck and stated that once he was done, his head was already halfway off his body. Brian continued to decapitate.
What? So he like stabbed him mainly around the neck, as we heard. And he's like, oh well, it was halfway off, so he was like, well, might as well take it all off. What the fuck?
Warren's head, cut one arm off, and several other body parts. He even laughed as he recounted dismembering Warren before awkwardly saying, "Sorry, that's morbid."
Yeah, I heard that in the investigation. I don't know if they'll show it here, but yes, he did do that.
He confessed, "I've been wanting to do this for a long time." Brian explains that he cut Warren's belly open just to see his guts. He then proceeded to toss the severed body parts in different directions, but not before putting Warren's head in an old pizza box and his severed hands in the trunk. Brian took Warren's wallet and put the knife in the glove box, headed home to store the parts, then left to dump his torso in the river. That brings us to the scene where his car slid into the river and he made several mistakes. Unlike Dahmer or Ted Bundy, whom he idolized, Brian forgot to hide all the evidence in the heat of the moment. His parents grew very...
All 3 of them, Dahmer, Bundy, and him, all dumbasses. All fucking dumbasses.
Very suspicious when his father found Warren's wallet and a large knife in the glove box. Once his father reported the wallet found, he questioned Brian. This is what led his mother to investigate in his room while Brian was at a friend's house. Charged with first-degree murder and tampering with a deceased human body, Brian's case quickly garnered attention. Right after his arrest, his defense team sought to move the case to juvenile court. But the district attorney noted that the juvenile court had no jurisdiction in this matter since Brian had turned 18. In September 2021, crucial details emerged during a court hearing. Officer Thomas Stuckenschneider testified about discovering parts of Warren's remains wrapped in plastic bags during a search of the Cohee household. He noted finding a blue jumpsuit in the dryer, suspected to belong to Brian on the night of the murder. In January 2023, Brian went to trial, lasting 12 days. His defense claimed he was insane during the act, but in Colorado, to be found legally insane, one must be unable to distinguish.
He was not insane because he wanted to do it. It was a fantasy of his, so it's no way that he was insane by doing it.
Right from wrong due to mental illness. Dr. Craig Gustafson, who had treated Brian for depression since 2018, testified that Brian had no signs of psychosis before the murder. In fact, the doctor had seen no abnormalities during a CAT scan that he ordered due to Brian's complaints of headaches. Counselor B. Phillips, who met with Brian multiple times, revealed troubling insights into his mindset. Brian referred to trans individuals as it and questioned the morality of causing harm to others.
Ew. First of all, we don't call an individual it. We call them by their preferred pronouns. Okay, first of all, just respect everyone. And question the morality of her causing. That's a red flag. That's a red flag.
She confirmed he demonstrated an understanding of right and wrong during their sessions. Witnesses, including a co-worker from Brian's workplace Safeway, testified that in the months leading up to the murder, Brian became more vocal about his feelings, including feelings of being friendless and disconnected. Forensic psychologist Dr. Serrano Amerigo testified about Brian's state of mind during questioning, affirming he showed no signs of mental distress or psychosis. She also answered a juror's question about the nature of homicidal thoughts, stating that such thoughts don't automatically indicate insanity. During the trial,
No, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
disturbing
Wait.
parts of an assessment were read aloud, revealing
So, obviously, having homicidal thought doesn't make you obviously liable for the insanity plea. It just means that you are a piece of shit. It legit just means that.
Brian harbored impulses of violence from a young age. He stated, "When I would see a person, the first thing in my mind would be to picture them being shot or stabbed." Forensic video
What the fuck? Okay, so apparently when he was younger, red flag, red flag. I don't have. Oh wait, I have a Rubik's cube. Pretend this is a flag. This is red, right? Red flag, red flag, red flag everywhere. Anyways.
Video analyst Jordan Huslig revealed significant findings from Warren's phone history on the night of the murder. He discovered that Warren had made a call to an unknown number around 7 p.m., interacted with a job app called People Ready JobStack, and played what appeared to be a mobile poker game. Additionally, Brian's web search history went back months and months on ways to kill someone. As the trial progressed, jurors were shown graphic images from the crime scene, leading to visible discomfort among the jury. One defense attorney raised concerns about a juror's mental state after witnessing one juror break down in tears and turn away from the images.
I mean, it's understandable. If you see that gruesome of a crime scene, obviously it will definitely take a toll on your mental psyche.
However, Judge Richard Gurley overruled the objection, acknowledging that it was understandable to look away given the gruesome content. Brian's parents took the stand next. Terry shared that her son has autism, ADHD, and anxiety, along with having been on medications.
Yeah, I have autism, ADHD, anxiety. I there's no excuse. I don't think she was trying to excuse her son's action, but maybe trying to help them to push for a sanity plea, maybe? I don't know.
Since he was 5. She suggested that his autism contributed to his intense fixations.
That is true. I mean, obviously sometimes us autistic people, we have like one thing we fixate on for like either a week, couple months, stuff like that. But like when I was younger, when I did that, it was like what Star Wars, Karate Kid, Beyblade, you know, like innocent stuff, not fucking murder.
In later months, Terry found a black backpack belonging to Brian that contained disturbing items like zip ties, a hammer, duct tape, and pliers. She spoke of his remarkable intellect, recounting how Brian was fascinated by astrophysics in his youth, a passion that eventually morphed into an interest in crime scene investigation after watching The Silence of the Lambs. Terry noted that the day after the murder, Brian seemed lighter than in the months prior. She questioned him about blood found on the trunk of his car, to which he casually claimed it was theatrical blood. Brian's father recalled the night of the murder, including their movie viewing of 1984. He reiterated Brian Jr.'s explanation about the blood, attributing it to a cut on his finger. One of the final witnesses was Dr. Paul Spragg, who performed a sanity evaluation on Brian. He argued that while it might appear Brian plotted the murder, it seemed more likely he was indulging his obsession with crime rather than premeditating such an act. After a 2-day deliberation,
In my opinion, that's my opinion, I think it's a mix of both. Obviously, I think he was premeditating the murder, but also his fixation really got like the best of him, which is not an excuse, but I do believe it's both. But that's my opinion.
the jury returned with their verdict on February 3rd, 2023. Brian was found guilty of first-degree murder, tampering with a deceased human body, and tampering with evidence. Strikingly, Brian showed no emotion as the verdict was read. Trish Mari, assistant district attorney, expressed the gravity of the situation. Warren Barnes lost his life in the most violent of ways. His friends, family, and community suffer his loss. This outcome demonstrates the checks and balances within the criminal justice system. Justice prevailed when the jury rendered guilty verdicts, holding the defendant accountable for his horrendous crimes. As the proceedings closed, Terry made a heartfelt statement. "I would just like to express our family's deep and sincere sympathies to the community and family of Mr. Barnes. His absence is felt profoundly, as Monique Lanati, the owner of a nearby bridal shop, shared. He was valued, he was loved, he is missed every single day." Geraldine Shipp, one of Warren's siblings, spoke about the haunting memories of her brother's tragic end. Just a day after he wished her a happy birthday, he was brutally murdered. Geraldine described Warren as a man of honor, a man of integrity, cherished by both his family and community. Brian Cohee Jr. was an extremely disturbed young man with a morbid fascination. His lack of remorse is perhaps the most troubling.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, and anyone in between, that was the case of Brian Cohee. Anything that happened in this video, I do not condone. He is a piece of shit. He deserved to be left in prison, and all of my sympathy and love to Warren Barnes and his family and the community. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like the video and subscribe. If you don't, that's fine, up to you. And I hope you all have an amazing day, evening, night.